My dear, I saw your face, but your soul had left it. Who is this stranger wearing your skin? I looked twice. Your smile stayed the same, but your silence screamed someone else's name. You looked like you, but my heart didn't recognize the frequency. You walked past me like I never carved a home in your chest. I met your eyes, but they carried no memory of me. Were you reborn? Because the soul I loved no longer resides there. Your body moved the same, but your aura wasn't mine anymore. Did grief clone you, or did you willingly shed your former self? I waved at your ghost, and it waved back with someone else's hand. You smiled like before, but it didn't reach your spirit. That wasn't you. It was a version that never bled for me. You looked like a dream I forgot how to wake from. You passed me, but the universe whispered, "That's not them anymore." I stared at you like a painting that no longer moved me. Was that your shadow? It walked like you, but didn't flinch near me. Your laugh echoed, but it had no soul in it. I don't know which hurts more, your change or my memory of you. I saw you, but the stars inside you were rearranged. You became the after-image of someone I used to love. You looked peaceful, like someone who had erased me perfectly. That wasn't you. It was who you chose to become without me. I reached for you, but the universe pulled back something colder. You didn't recognize me, but I still remember the rhythm of your absence. I knew it wasn't you. You didn't flinch when you saw my pain. Your eyes were a stranger's, wearing your bones. That wasn't your voice. It was hollow, like it never spoke my name. I saw your reflection, but it didn't cry when it saw mine. You had the same face, but none of my secrets lived there anymore. My body knew you, but my soul wept for someone who left. You looked like closure, dressed in nostalgia. Was that really you, or the person you pretend to be now? You wore the same smile, but it didn't ache anymore. You returned, but left behind everything I once loved. That wasn't the face I kissed goodbye. It was too light, too free. I stared, hoping you'd glitch into the one I lost. Your steps echoed differently this time, unapologetic, healed, distant. I saw your ghost laughing in a stranger's timeline. You looked happy, too happy to remember the wars we survived. That couldn't be you. You didn't tremble at my name. You passed me like a chapter you no longer needed to read. Even your silence changed accents. You blinked, and I didn't see my past in your eyes. That was your body, but your spirit refused to grieve me. You walked like peace finally found you, without me. You smiled like I never broke you. I looked up and met a soul that no longer housed mine. Your love had a new script, and I wasn't in the cast. That wasn't deja vu, it was rebirth without me. The resemblance was painful, but the soul was gone. You were once my mirror, now you don't even reflect regret. Did you forget me so well that even your atoms changed? You look like someone who buried us with grace. That wasn't your voice. It didn't shake near me. You felt familiar, but only like an old scar. I looked at you like a ghost who forgot they died. I wanted to scream your name, but you weren't listening from that version. You weren't haunted anymore, and I didn't know whether to smile or collapse. I waited for a glitch, for your real soul to slip out. Even your shadow no longer curves toward mine. You were too still, like a memory, not a person. You carried freedom like someone who stopped mourning me. Your eyes looked through me like I was part of the scenery. The way you ignored me was so peaceful. It terrified me. You became the version I couldn't survive loving. I saw you, but the gravity between us was dead. Your aura was repainted. I wasn't one of the colors. You didn't even flinch when our timelines overlapped again. That wasn't fate. It was closure pretending to look like you. I wanted to call your name, but it didn't belong to you anymore. The body stayed, the devotion didn't. I touched your presence and felt nothing that once held me. I once knew every sigh in your chest. Now it beats for someone else. You were a mirror once. Now you're a wall. You forgot me with elegance. I saw your peace and realized I was the war. I felt invisible, like I only existed in our past dimension. You walked away like you were never mine. I don't know if you healed or just replaced me. That wasn't a person, it was your healing embodied. If this touched your soul, don't scroll, like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. You no longer flinched when our eyes met, and that killed me quietly. I used to live in that smile. Now I just visit in pain. The soul in you doesn't answer to my heartbeat anymore. Even the wind around you feels unfamiliar. You let me die in your memory and still walked peacefully. You didn't just change, you disappeared into a life I never imagined. Your eyes spoke in a language I no longer understand. I saw your shadow walking without the warmth of our past. You became a stranger who remembers my name, but not my soul. That wasn't goodbye. It was the silence of someone else's story. You were once my forever. Now you're a memory I'm still chasing. The person I loved is a ghost wearing your skin. You crossed my path, but your heart walked a different road. I still see you, just not the one who loved me back. You carried a new life in your eyes, one without me. I traced your face and found unfamiliar pain etched beneath. You were a promise that time quietly erased. Your absence screamed louder than your presence ever did. You looked like love, but carried someone else's name. You vanished like a dream I wasn't meant to remember. The soul I once knew now feels like a myth. You moved like a stranger, but wore the face I adored. You disappeared behind a mask I never saw coming. I still hear your voice, but it calls to a different heart. Your reflection no longer mirrors the love I gave. You walked away and took the light I lived in. I waited for you, but you were already someone else's. You didn't just change the story, you rewrote my whole existence. The distance between us is now an ocean of silence. You carry memories of me, but your heart carries new dreams. I saw your eyes, empty, as if you'd forgotten love's weight. You smiled, but your soul whispered goodbye long ago. You slipped away like water through my desperate fingers. Your warmth turned to frost the moment I turned around. I loved a ghost masquerading in the skin of the living. You became the answer to a question I never asked. I see you, but you live in a universe that excludes me. You left me behind like a book no one wants to finish. The love we built collapsed under the weight of your silence. You looked at me like a stranger with a familiar face. You became someone who doesn't know the shape of my heart. I loved the shadow of you, not the light you embraced. You carried a new song, one I wasn't meant to hear. I saw you breathe, but it wasn't the breath that once sustained us. Your eyes danced to a rhythm I could no longer follow. You walked on, leaving my soul stranded in yesterday's ruins. You changed colors while I was still painting your portrait. The you I knew is a ghost haunting my every thought. You're someone else now, and that truth hurts more than goodbye. I watched your love evaporate into a mist of forgetfulness. Your heart learned to beat without the memory of mine. You didn't break. I just stopped fitting into your new life. The stars in your eyes dimmed the moment you stopped needing me. I reached for you, but you slipped into a stranger's arms. You smiled at me with eyes that never met mine. You walked through me like a spirit I couldn't hold. The echo of your love now sings a stranger's song. You became the distance I feared most in silence. I saw you fall away like autumn leaves without warning. Your absence is a wound I refuse to stop nursing. You live in a story where I'm only a fading chapter. You breathed love, then exhaled someone else's name. I loved you until you became a stranger's reflection. Your smile is the last goodbye I never wanted. You disappeared, leaving a ghost where my heart used to be. You held me once, now you hold only shadows. Your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. You built walls where we once built dreams. The love I gave you is now a stranger's whisper. You don't belong to me anymore, but I still belong to you. You wore my love like a costume, then tossed it aside. Your face stayed the same, but your soul moved on. I loved a phantom, a version of you that never stayed. You vanished, but your absence writes volumes in my heart. You became the person I used to dream about, not the one I knew. Your love grew distant while I held on tighter. I saw you, but it wasn't the you who loved me. You turned into a stranger who remembers how to smile. I held your ghost tighter than I held you alive. You became a question I'll never find the answer to. You walked away with pieces of my soul in your hands. Your absence screams what your presence once whispered. You left, but I still hear your footsteps in my dreams. You loved a different life than the one I lived with you. I saw your eyes flicker with a love I no longer recognize. You disappeared behind a mask I can't remove. I watched you fade like stars swallowed by daylight. Your love turned into a story I wasn't meant to finish. You were my forever until forever was rewritten without me. I loved your shadow when you became too bright to hold. You vanished like a dream, leaving me awake and broken. Your soul is a stranger's now, but your face still haunts me. I held on while you let go without a fight.